Good afternoon. It is Monday, January 26th, and I am Allison Mata. I'm here today alone covering the Zach Adams trial. This is our Rewatch Part 7 party, um, covering Zach Adams, who was tried and convicted for the unaliving of Holly Bobo. So let's get our intro going, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, let's just give you some background on the Holly Bobo case. Holly Bobo vanished April 13th, 2011. She was found dead in 2014. At the 2017 trial, star witness Jason Autry gave devastating testimony. Adams shot her under a bridge. The jury convicted in hours. Now Autry says he fabricated everything. Let's break down how he fooled them all. And we're starting with the trial. We already actually did watch Jason Autry's original testimony, but we're going in order now. And we are on, I think, day 3. Bob gave me the exact timestamp, so I know exactly where to start. But we're watching the trial that, at least we believe on this channel, resulted in the wrongful conviction of Zach Adams. Those of you who have followed this case know that he has filed a motion, post-conviction petition, seeking relief, seeking a new trial. We're waiting for that. So we are just taking a look back at what happened at trial now that we know a lot more about this case than they did back then, and even than we did when we were watching the post-conviction proceedings. So we're going to start at, Bob says, 5914. So let me boot that up. All right, so they're about to call a new witness. Let me get this. Oh, I shouldn't have done it like that. Sorry, let me do it like this. All right. Now we're going to go full screen. I boosted the sound, and they're about to call the next witness. So let's go.
Suzanne Pratt.
All right, for those of you that don't know, hey, what is going on here? Let me fix this. No. Okay. I had shoulder surgery, so sometimes if you see me like grimace or, stretching weirdly or making a face like when I'm typing, that's what that's all about. So don't be alarmed. All right, I'm going to bloop this, but let me also speed up the, whoops, That's not right.
Right hand, please.
Time.
Swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and then let the truth shine.
Going to go.
You see, state your name and spell first and last for the benefit of the court reporter.
We're at 1.5, which is what I think Bob's been doing most of this trial. If it's too fast, and you need me to slow it down, I'll be paying attention in the chat.
Emily Suzanne Pratt, EMILY PRATT.
Yeah, it's gonna, what happened to our little box?
I'll get a box out.
If we're done with this, it kind of,
We are for a few minutes.
sorry, it kind of binds the witness when they come in.
Yeah.
I thought her hair was blue, actually.
Oh, no.
Let the record reflect it's not blue. All right, proceed.
Ms. Pratt, tell me you were nervous. Are you still?
Sure.
Okay. When asked that you speak up, because you're soft spoken, the jurors on this end of the box need to hear what you have to say, okay? So direct your answers to them.
Okay.
All right? See if you say yes, so they can hear you.
Yes.
There you go. Where do you live? Not asking for your address, but what area do you live in?
Parsons, Tennessee, north Decatur County.
All right, how long have you lived there?
Since I was in high school, 1980.
Sorry?
1980.
Okay, you want to speak up?
1980.
Okay. You're married and have a family?
I am.
Do you know the Bobo family?
I do.
How do you know the Bobos?
I've always known them. My husband is related to them,
Related to whom?
to Dana.
Okay. And who is Jeremy Pratt?
Jeremy's my son.
And Jeremy Pratt, at least in 2011, was law enforcement, is that correct?
He was a deputy for the county.
Do you know Holly Bobo?
I do.
How long did you know Holly?
I've always known Holly.
Did you say that her whole life?
Her whole life.
Okay.
I've known her because I've known the Bobos, and we went to church together. We ended up in school together, in nursing school.
And I'm going to ask you about that. Were you in school with her when she went to Jack State for the year, or when she started going actually in the nursing program?
No, we entered the LPN program together.
Is that a large or small, relatively small class?
Relatively small class, 20-ish.
And was it a rigorous program?
Very.
Did you guys have study groups and whatnot?
We did,
Ms. Holly,
and she and I were in the same study group.
what about clinical, where you'd actually go out to other facilities?
Same clinical group. We were together all the time.
That was the next question. Because you were in the same study group, you were in the same nursing program, and in the same clinical group, how much time did you spend with Holly?
We were together all the time.
And the two of you, there's a difference in your ages, correct?
There is.
And did that interfere at all with your friendship, or did you have sort of a surrogate mother-daughter sort of thing?
None, because I loved her as a she was just like one of my own kids. We were classmates, and just really close, you know.
Do you remember the day that you and everyone else heard that Holly was gone?
Yes, very well.
Do you remember where you were when you heard that?
In class, we just completed a test.
Okay, so I'm going to draw attention to that morning, April the 13th. That was a Wednesday, correct?
Yes,
And you said something about a test. You had a test that morning?
we did.
What time were you and Holly and the rest supposed to be at school?
We were supposed to be there at 8 o'clock, and we started our testing promptly after that. And we waited. I don't remember how long, but we waited a few minutes because she was late, and she was never late. So she didn't come, so we went ahead and started the
Was
test.
that a pretty big deal for somebody not to show up for a test?
It was. That's why we waited. Mhm.
And at some point, the instructor went ahead and started.
Yes,
Did you complete your test?
we did.
Was Holly there when you completed your test?
No,
Did you learn something after that?
we did. She waited until everybody turned in their papers, and then she told us what she had learned.
And you say she,
The instructor, sorry.
and when the instructor gave you that information, what did you do?
I left and went to the area of her home.
Did you actually go to her home?
Not to her home. We couldn't go that close, but we, some of the other students and I began walking the road. Or I'm not sure, I don't remember the name of the road, but in that area surrounding her home.
Were you just walking to take a walk, or were you walking to look for Holly?
We were looking for anything that we thought, just anything that we might see.
From April the 13th forward, did you continue to try and help?
Every day,
And when you say every day, tell the jury what you were doing every day.
in the woods, every day, just somewhere,
yourself?
every day. Sometimes by myself and sometimes with the group.
I want to jump forward a couple of weeks. Do you remember when Easter was?
Yes.
Easter Sunday was in
Yes,
2011?
yes, I
Do you
did.
remember the date?
Yes, I remember that day.
Okay, what day was it?
I don't remember the date, but I just remember going to church and someone announcing that we needed to go search that day.
Okay. You said you went to church with the Bobos.
Yes,
All right. If I said April 24th, does that ring a bell?
probably.
Okay, but it was Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday. Mhm.
After church, where did you go?
We went to Mackenzie Tree Service, and we started there and
What
walked
road is Mackenzie Tree Service?
on 641 North.
And when you say we went, you, or was this a day where a group was going?
This was a group. I know a group from our church, but I believe it was more than just a group from our church. But
Were you guys going to walk 641, or
Yes.
a different plan to load up on a bus and go somewhere else?
As far as I knew, we were going to search 641 North, go north on 641 North. That's as far as I went.
On four-wheelers, on walk-in?
Walking, elbow to elbow, walking. Mhm.
And did you start doing that?
Yes.
From McKinsey Tree Service?
From McKinsey Tree Service. Mhm.
And what, if anything, did you find?
At, I believe the name of the business was Fast Code. We were walking this ditch, this side, or out in front of that business, and at the culvert, there was a phone laying on top of the culvert.
Are you good with distances? If you're not, I'll ask someone later.
I'm not sure how far from the road we were.
I was gonna ask, how far from the Bobo's house is it to McKinsey Tree Service?
As the crow flies, or
Ask the road class, let's just go that way.
I'm just guessing 5 miles, but I really don't know.
But not a great distance.
Not a great distance, no.
You said a phone was laying on a culvert?
On the top of the culvert, like it was placed there actually, just laying on the top of it.
I mean, you didn't see anyone place there,
No,
but that's just how it appeared to you.
sure. Mhm.
And what did you do? And were you alone or with another person who spotted the phone at about the same time you did?
Well, there were several people there, probably 3 or 4 right beside me. I can't remember. I know one person that I could name, but other than
Who
that,
was there?
Danny Lomax.
And what did you and Mr. Lomax do when you spotted the phone?
We called for some of the law enforcement to come and see what we had found.
And did law enforcement come to you all there?
They did.
You said it's a driveway or two away from McKinsey Tree Service?
Yeah, I believe it was one driveway away. I'm not sure, but
Did anything stand out in your mind about the phone when you saw it?
well, I had used Holly's phone just previously, and it looked like the phone that she had.
And we'll pass forward as a collective exhibit. I haven't collated it yet, but look at 2 photographs and see if that appears to be, or what that appears to be.
It appears to be the phone that I used. That
Hey guys, just want to point out that this prosecutor knows how to use photographs to have a witness identify an object. And for those of you wondering why there's such disdain in my voice and might have missed some of the earlier proceedings, but the prosecutor had the mother on the stand and literally handed her personal objects of her daughter, open up her lunchbox, go through her purse to identify things, got the mother so emotional and so worked up that shortly thereafter she passed out. I think she passed out. I might be speaking out of turn. But she had like a medical issue as a result. Asked for a mistrial, did not get one because the judge was like, oh, it was a real medical issue. It wasn't for show. And nobody thought what the mother did was for show. They thought that what the prosecutor did was to get the mother to have such a physical reaction. And we've got confirmation from K Riggs and Living Story Worlds. She did pass out. She had a panic attack. And K Riggs said her blood pressure bottomed out. So I'm just noting that clearly she knows how to do it the normal way. You show a witness a photograph. Is this the object that you know to be whatever it is we're saying it is? Here, Holly's cell phone. So, you know, if anyone thought maybe this prosecutor just does it like that, you know, no. She knows how to use a photograph to identify an object. So, all right, let's get back to it.
Holly had.
Is that the phone that you found?
Yes. Mhm.
Your Honor, as that together, they be marked as the next number of the exhibit.
That's the consecutive numbers would be 73 and 74.
Can we say one something?
That might be consecutive numbers.
Oh,
Unless there's a particular reason,
no, one of them's the front, one of them's the back. I was just.
that is not consecutive
Okay.
numbers.
Can you just put the first one up, please?
Okay, we're going to into that. Give me just a second.
Ms. Pratt, a lot of people have the same kinds of phones, and, but when you spotted that phone, you said you knew that that looked like.
And again, she's sharing the phone via a picture up on a screen for the jury to see, as opposed to asking if she can. And the judge actually did, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, tell the prosecutor, well, no, you can publish photos to the jury. So I'm not sure if there were some objects that they literally handed to the jury and they passed physical objects around, which is what the prosecution wanted to do. I know in some instance, I heard the judge say, well, I'll let you get photos and pass those out. But, you know, clearly she knows how to do it like this.
Holly's phone.
It looked like it. Mhm.
And it's, you had actually used her phone before.
I had.
On one or more occasions?
Mhm.
On one or more occasions?
Yes, yes. We went
Yes, one time?
Thanks.
Yes.
once.
Rick.
Yes, once. Uh-huh.
No, you only used her phone once. Have you seen her with the phone?
Yes.
On many occasions?
Yes.
And that's all I have for the picture. I asked you about the test that you took that day. Did the teachers there or the instructor call off homework, or did sometimes you have homework due on the same day that you had a test?
We had a test first thing in the morning, took a break, started something new. She lectured all day. We studied that night, tested the next day. Is that
And
what
you
you're
did sometimes
asking?
have homework on the same day.
I had homework every night.
Um, Was there a particular project that you guys had to do sometimes that involved the oversized note cards?
Yes,
And tell me where you got that.
we had drug cards of a specific class of drugs. Every so often, we would have to turn in drug cards of different drugs, and it would have contraindications, what class of drugs, I'm sorry, contraindications, classes of drugs that they were, and things like
Just a
that.
variety of drugs and
Yes,
about it. And how were they turned in a particular format?
yes, we turned in a paper that had, on the front of the paper, it would say how the grading was broken down, and then we folded the paper, put the cards on the inside, clipped it together, turned it in, and that's
I'm going to pass you forward
how we got it back.
and see if you can recognize what that might be.
Yes, that's the paper that we turned in with the drug cards.
Whose paper does that appear to be?
That's Holly's.
Do you recognize her writing?
Yes. Mhm.
Your Honor, ask that be marked as the next one.
The exhibit 75.
Yes.
Yeah, give us a second.
If-
We have sent invites out to Dana and
Well, pass,
Katie.
look over your left shoulder. You indicated that you guys would turn in a grade sheet and the cards would be folded inside, is that correct?
Yes,
And were there particular rules, like you were supposed to collate them with a clip kind of a thing?
yes. We folded the paper in half.
The cards went in the paper, and they clipped it together so that they stayed together. Yes.
Okay, you don't have to just leave them off. I'm going to pass forward what's previously marked. You got your glasses. I don't have anything else.
We're gonna need the overhead.
No, you're
All right, let's bring the lights up. Turn the overhead off. Cover the end of the box. Here's what you're saying, cross-examination.
Hello, Mrs. Pratt. I'm Jennifer Thompson. Now, you remember giving a statement to an FBI agent, Art Viveros. Do you remember
I
that?
remember the name.
And I think you gave it to him on the same day that you found the phone.
Okay. Mhm.
Because, of course, as soon as you find the phone, everybody was very interested in getting as much information as possible,
Right.
weren't they?
Right.
And so at the time, then they interviewed you about where you found it and what it was.
Mhm.
And then again, you gave another statement to a woman named Valerie Trout. I believe she came out to your house in 2013 and spoke to you and did a report. Okay. And so today you testified that when you found the phone, you remembered that it looked like Holly's phone. And you suspected that it was Holly's phone. Is that what you're saying?
Mhm.
Yes?
It did look like the phone that I used of hers.
Okay. Can you answer out loud because the court reporter is writing down your answers?
It looked like the phone that I used of hers.
Now, previously, when you spoke with Valerie Trout, you specifically told her that when you found the phone on April 24th, it did not look like the phone that you recalled using of Holly Bobo's. Do you remember telling her that?
No.
So you can't quite remember what you
She's
told.
shaking her head no.
Okay,
No.
She said no out loud.
I didn't hear it either, but that's all right.
So your memory is kind of fuzzy of your conversation with Valerie Trout. Is that right?
I remember her name.
Okay.
I do remember her name. I talked to so many.
So it's possible that when she came to visit you in 2013, you told her that it didn't look like the phone that you remembered using from Holly.
You're not going to object. She said she didn't say that.
I don't remember saying that.
She said she doesn't remember. So I'm
Yeah.
asking her, is it possible that you did say
Right.
that?
I don't remember saying that.
Okay. Is it possible, though, that you said it? That's my question.
All right, she has responded to your,
All right. So all she needs to do is say would it refresh your recollection to review a report. And then what I'm sure would happen is the prosecutor be like, well, it's not her report. It's a report of someone else writing what she says. But that does not matter if you understand the rules of evidence. But let's see how it plays out here. And I'm sure many of you have heard the saying that you can, refresh recollection with, and I can't think of what like some of the funny, following things are, but like a bag of dog shit, basically. So, you know, anything that might actually refresh your recollection.
Question 2 or 3 times. Let's make it.
Okay. So it's clear that
I'm gonna
somewhere
back
there's a
up.
mistake.
And hear what the judge
You said
said.
it. That's my question.
All right, she has responded to your question 2 or 3 times. Let's make it.
Okay.
She has responded to your question 2 or 3 times. Let's move on.
So it's clear that somewhere there's a mistake. Would you agree with me on that?
Sure.
That either you misspoke, said something, or possibly Valerie Pratt wrote it down in her report incorrectly.
Could be.
And you would agree with me that 2011 was 6 years ago and a lot of time has passed since then,
That's right.
and memories fade. Would you agree with me on
Right.
that? Okay. No further questions.
Done?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Pratt, you can be excused. Please don't discuss your
All right. So the defense is saying it wasn't her phone. Does anyone know if it was actually Holly's phone? I mean, or is that basically all we know? It was found next to her homework. It seems to me like an issue not worth even questioning her about, but that's why I wish that we had Katie and Dana here because they know this case inside of and out. And but I just don't get the point of that cross-examination, to be perfectly honest. So let's go.
testimony. You want to, you can come back in court. Let Chris have you.
Ednesha Brasher, Ednesha, Brasher, Brasher.
Nisha Brasher's coming.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Ms. Brasher, you're soft spoken, a lot of people are. I'm gonna ask you to lean forward and that microphone because it's important that everyone already can hear what you have to say, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not asking for your address, but where do you live?
In Martin, Tennessee.
Okay, how long have you lived in Martin?
About 4 years now.
Sorry, guys. I said how they spelled her name, and now I didn't write it down. And I got to change the banner.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Ms. Brasher, you're soft spoken, a lot of people are.
Hey.
I'm gonna ask you to
First and last, and spell it for the court reporter.
My name is Ednesha Brasher, Ednesha, Brasher, Brasher.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Ms. Brasher, you're soft spoken, a lot of people are. I'm gonna ask you to lean forward and that microphone because it's important that everyone already can hear what you have to say, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not asking for your address, but where do you live?
In Martin, Tennessee.
Okay, how long have you lived in Martin?
About 4 years now.
I'd like to draw your attention, please, back to 2011 and ask where you lived at that time.
At that time, I was living in Memphis, Tennessee.
And did you periodically visit Decatur County and those surrounding counties?
Yes, ma'am. That's where I'm from. And I went to school there in Memphis.
In Memphis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but ask if you visited like Parsons and Decatur County in that area.
Yes, ma'am.
So which one are you from?
I'm from Parsons.
Okay, gotcha. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So you're from Parsons, so you would go back and forth to school, from school in Memphis to home.
Right.
I want to draw your attention to a specific day, on May the 3rd, 2011, and ask whether sometime prior to that date, you had become aware that a young lady by the name of Holly Bobo had come up missing.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And even though you were in school, you knew about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know anybody in her family?
I knew her brother, Clint. I think he was a social worker at the nursing home I was working at prior.
And you were working at a nursing home prior to going to school, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you tell me you finished school, or you're in school now?
I am finished now.
And what do you do for your?
I'm a social worker.
So you knew of Clint, so when you heard about Holly missing, did you make a connection between, that was a coworker, sister?
Yes, ma'am.
Now I want to draw your attention to back to May the 3rd of 2011, several weeks after she was reported missing. Do you remember being home and going for a bicycle ride?
Yes, ma'am.
And who did you go for a bicycle ride with?
With my little brother.
Okay, how old was he?
He was 10 at the time.
And I guess, what street did y'all start on?
We started on Miller Street,
And where in the county is that?
Decatur County.
Is it north, south, east, do you know?
I don't know. I don't have directions.
Just like, all right, so did you leave Miller Street or stay on Miller Street?
We did leave Miller Street.
And where did you go?
We went on down to Camden Road.
And as you rode along, who was in front? Was your little brother right in front, or were you?
My little brother was in front.
Okay, but nevertheless, were y'all staying sort of close to one another?
Yes, ma'am.
Where you could talk back and forth?
Right.
Were you playing a game?
Yes, ma'am.
What game were you playing?
We were playing I Spy.
Okay. Now, I know what that is. That's I Spy something red, and the other one, yeses?
Right, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this is something like that. All right. Do you remember when it was your brother's turn, him spying something that actually got your attention?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell the jury, please, what happened.
Okay. So we were just playing I Spy, and he said, I Spy a SIMS card. And I was like, you see a SIMS card? Because they're pretty small. And he said, yeah. And so I said, okay. And so when he had picked it up, I said, well, let me see it. And so he handed it to me, and I put it in my back pocket, and we just kind of talked about how strange that was, and then we just kept riding at that point.
All right. Now, this SIM card, that's with the little small squares that go into a phone, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said, he said, I spy something. Did he actually get off his bike when he spied it, or were y'all riding and he spied it?
Yes, sir. Well, at that time, we were kind of going pretty slow, and we were kind of riding in the grass at that point. And so he did get off of his bike. And
And you're the one that picked it up, not him.
He picked it up first and handed it to me.
You said you put it in your pocket and went your way.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you do something or remember that you had the SIM card later on that day?
Right. It was later that night.
Explain to the jury about that.
So later that night, I just went throughout the day, and then later that night I thought about it and I had it in my pocket. And so I took it out and I had put it in my phone, and then I had heard different voice messages on it. And so I went and I had told my friend what I had heard. I said, I think it's Holly's. And so I was kind of like, what do we need to do and things like that. And so they were like, well, just call her mom. And so of course at that point, it was all over Facebook and things, the number that you can get in contact with someone. And so I had found her number, and so I had called her at that point.
And before that, had you ever talked to Karen Bobo?
No.
But when you called that number, a female answered and identified herself as Karen Bobo?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you tell her what you and your brother had found?
Right, I did.
And did the two of you, I guess, come up with a plan right then of how you were going to turn over the SIM card?
Yes, ma'am. She had asked me to meet her husband at a gas station just there in town.
And if you're in Parsons, there's literally like across the street, right smack in the center of Parsons. Is that where you were?
Yes, ma'am.
And did her husband or someone who identified himself as Dana Bobo come to the?
Yes, ma'am. Her husband was there as well as her son, Clint.
Hey, Clint, you recognize?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Just
you.
for the record, letting Clint raise their hands. Do you see these two?
Yes, ma'am.
Are those people that you met at the gas station?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you give them SIM cards?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, a lot of SIM cards probably look alike, but I'm gonna take it back up.
Oh, now she's going to take out the actual SIM card.
I'm gonna hold out for you. Does that appear to be the same kind or same color, the SIM card that you turned over?
Yes, ma'am.
And you turned that over on May the 3rd, 2011. Pretty late in the evening, actually, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right. While she fondles the SIM card with her hands, I'm left wondering, did anybody do either fingerprint testing, DNA testing on the damn SIM card? Because if it wasn't in the phone and it was found separate from the phone, leads you to believe that the kidnapper / killer removed the SIM card from the phone, which requires handling of the SIM card. So when we talked about this case earlier, I know there was a lot of items that were untested. I don't know if this is one of them, but you should always have gloves available when you are touching evidence in a courtroom. So DB says, well, we'll never know now that this young lady put it in her phone. Well, I mean, you never know. DNA could stick around. Fingerprints would, very likely be smudged because it's such a small item. DNA is probably unlikely, but possible. I mean, for sure. We get touch DNA all the time, so that could have stuck around. K-Riggs also points out it's probably too contaminated. It probably is now, but I wonder if it was where it was just touched by just this woman and the kidnapper. But, all the things we'll never know. All the things we'll never know.
Mark is the next number to exhibit.
Any objection? All right, the exhibit 77.
And you indicated that was found on Camden Road.
Yes, ma'am.
And assuming the jury sees the map later, is Camden Road, do you know which direction it runs or any landmarks that you could give us about where you and your brother were?
As far as landmarks, there was a sawmill on that road, and so we were pretty
What on
close.
that road?
A sawmill, and so we were pretty close
You're
to it.
close to the sawmill on Camden Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Cross?
There you go.
No questions. All right, Ms. Brasher, you may be excused. Don't discuss your testimony with anyone. You can join us in the courtroom or you're free to go. Okay? Thank you. Next. We'll correct that. Be seated, state your name, spell first and last for the court reporter.
Ernest Stone.
Ernest, okay?
It's ERNEST SDONE.
So you go by Larry, also?
Yes.
You can call me Larry.
That's fine.
Where do you live? Don't your address. Generally, where do you
I live in Camden, Tennessee.
And what do you do?
Ginseng deep.
I'm sorry.
Wild roots and herbs.
Okay. Roots and herbs. That include ginseng?
Yes, sir.
What do you do do you look for ginseng, or where do you go to get ginseng?
Well, you go, most of the time you find ginseng on the north side of the hill, shady, ferny areas.
Ginseng likes to shade?
Yes, sir.
And you do this, you call yourself a ginseng hunter, or is that what we call it?
Yeah.
Okay. How long did you live where you lived?
I've lived there for 2005.
You familiar with Decatur County?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Do you know the Bobo family at all?
No.
But you were aware that Holly went missing.
Yeah.
In early 2011.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna take you back to September the 7th, 2014. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing that day?
I was getting ready to go dig ginseng.
Did you say you're getting ready to go where?
Get ready to leave the house to go dig ginseng.
Deaton, Tennessee?
No, dig ginseng.
Okay, dig for ginseng.
I was
Okay,
getting
I'm sorry. I got that. I'm gonna. And where were you planning on going to dig for ginseng?
Well, obviously it wasn't there. I was going somewhere totally different. But then I got the natural trace. Got to thinking about my dad pouring the concrete for that phone tire.
Okay.
And I knew there was ginseng there at one point.
So you thought that might be a good area to go find some ginseng?
Yes, sir.
On September 7th. I'm gonna show this to you. I'm gonna hand you a photograph. I'm gonna call you Larry. Okay, I'm just used to calling you Larry. And just let me know if you recognize that photograph.
Yes, sir. I did.
Does that describe the area that you went to hunt or to dig ginseng?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't forget that. Enter the next number. Is it?
All right, we are at 78.
Now, first, witness Judge
Good night.
Water. This is a laser pointer. I'm going to want you to show us what you did on this photograph. That button right there.
The top button.
Yeah. We have what is marked as exhibit 78 on the screen. Now, just tell us a little bit about this photograph, what you recognize and what you did that day.
That Sunday morning, the 7th, we parked.
Is this area?
Yes, sir.
I think this one is.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We parked right here, just cable right here. And I got out of the truck, got my water, and got my little fanny pack, whatever you want to call it, and took off right down through here. Got down right in here, walked down this way, got right here, and I started having chest pains. So I had to turn around. I looked at my cousin. I said, I gotta go back to the truck because I forgot my nitroglycerin. So I turned and I walked back up through here, come around, and I come back out on the road here, which actually I found a ginseng plant. So
What'd you do with that ginseng plant?
I put it in my fanny pack.
You said this was next trace
Where is this?
area.
This is actually part of Decatur County.
Okay.
And you were going, when you first went there, what direction were you going? Was it north or was it west?
I was headed, actually I was headed north when I got to the top of this road.
Okay.
Kind of northeast, I'd say.
Okay.
And then I turned and started walking this way. I don't got that ginseng plant, so I decided to go back this way. But chest done eased up because I got up on that flat ground where I wasn't being so stressed. So I actually thought, just take a minute, rest, and then walk up a little further. So I walked up a little further, found another ginseng plant. And then I go on up, and I get right about in here. I see another ginseng plant, but then something caught my eye.
Okay.
And, you know, bucket, I got clean dogs, and I use buckets for water buckets.
So you saw a bucket?
Yep. So I walk over to the bucket. I picked it up, and then a feeling came over me. Just something just told me, turn around. And I'm sitting there thinking the whole time in my head, why is a 3-gallon bucket sitting here upside down in the woods? So I went with my instinct, and the feeling hit me, said, turn around. And then that's when I found what I found.
What'd you find?
Holly's remains.
Well, what specifically did you find? Is it,
The skull.
and you recognize that quickly to be a human skull?
Yes, sir.
What did you go to that?
I told my cousin, I said, please tell me, you know what, he was down the holler for me. So that's when I started yelling for him. And he was probably a good 300 yards away because it took me like 3 or 4 tries to get him.
Is he still out here by the cell tower?
He is, by this time, I'm here and he's right at the center of the holler.
Okay.
And there's an old broke over log in this holler right in here and he's about right in there. And I'm here.
And he's doing the same thing you were doing?
Yes, sir.
Looking for ginseng?
Yes, sir. And then finally, I guess it's about the 3rd try because the first I couldn't get nothing out of my mouth. I was so stunned. And by that time, the old ticker done started bothering me again at that point. So I finally got his name out of my mouth. I said, Timmy, get up here now. And he's like, what? And I said, I found remains. And he said, no, you didn't. You're lying. As you know, as he's picking across the log at me up there. And I said, get up here now. I'm being serious now. Get up here. Because we joke around a lot in the woods. But, you know, this day, it was not a joking day, you know. So finally, he seen me. I just started bawling. Because I thought, well, he's not going to come. And so finally, he come up there and I looked at him. I said, please tell me that's one of the things they use in school. It's not real. And he kind of looked at it and he said, it's real. And then that's when I looked at him. I said, you know who this could be, right? And he looked back at me. He said, who do you think it is? And then that's
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the hearsay.
All right, we got this conversation. He can say what he said. He can't say what his fellow hunters were saying to him.
So that's when I said, I think this is Holly. And
But you didn't know that, obviously.
I didn't know it at that point.
At that point, the only thing you saw was the skull.
That's
right?
it. That's all I seen.
You didn't see any other remains or anything in that area. Is that correct?
Not at the time.
Did you call the authorities?
Yes, I did.
Tell us about that.
I was so tore up in emotion. I told him that who I found, and I just broke down. I couldn't talk or nothing. So I had my phone to my cousin, and I was telling him what to say and where we was because he didn't even know really. And finally, when I told him when they said somebody was on the way, to have him out by the road waiting for them to get there so they know where he was at. But
So your cousin went out to the roadway?
he went out to the roadway.
And did you stay back?
I sat back down by the same tree I sat down beside is where I sat until they got back down there to me.
Do you remember who arrived or?
It was the Benton County Sheriff's Department and then Decatur County Sheriff's Department, the sheriff, they said.
At some point, did some TBI?
Do you guys need me to slow this particular witness down? Again, remember, we're still at 1.5, so I'll try to pay attention to the chat.
Special agents arrived as well?
Yes, there was Joe Walker and Agent Booth, I think, showed up.
Brent Booth?
Yeah, Brent Booth, sorry.
And you did what? Did you show them what you found and where it was?
Yeah.
At that point, did they take over the situation, the scene?
Yes, they did.
Did you give a sort of a formal statement to them, tell them?
Yes, sir.
And they took it down?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This area that we're looking at right here, the area where you found those remains, that's the Decatur County Ginseng?
It's the little gnome that goes back. If it had been any further back, it'd been in Benton County, but it wasn't. It was Decatur County.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. No further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, you can sit down, Mr. Son.
All right.
Yes,
Yeah, that's the whole truth, that's the truth that you got.
I do.
Please state your name and spell first and last for the court reporter.
Laura Hodge, Laurahodge.
Thank you. You can say,
Thank you. All right, you've already stated your name. Where do you work, Ms. Hodge?
I am a special agent forensic scientist for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and I work in the Nashville Crime Laboratory.
How long have you worked at TBI?
It'll be 25 years, December 1st.
Are you still part of the violent crime response team?
I am in a limited capacity. This year, I was placed on an alternate list where I will assist the violent crime response team as an alternate.
Back in, thinking back to September, early September 2014, around the 7th, 8th, and 9th, or 10th. What was your assignment at TBI back then?
I was a team leader of a violent crime response team.
What does it, you didn't already say, what does the violent crime response team do?
A violent crime response team is made up of individuals throughout the laboratory units, and we go and assist local law enforcement agencies in the processing of crime scenes. In this particular case, in 2014, we assisted the UT Anthropology Department in the search for human remains.
Do you remember when you got the call? Was it September the 7th, or do you remember specifically when it was?
I received the first call on September the 8th. Yes, sir.
When you get that call, do you kind of mobilize your team, or?
Yes, I received a notification from the Crime Lab Regional Supervisor, Mike Little, at the time, and then I began contacting my team members to inform them of what we would be doing.
What time did you get out there?
We did not go until the next day, September the 9th. Yes, sir.
Do you remember when it was to get out there?
It was approximately 8 o'clock.
I'm gonna put, what is your-
what year?
2014.
Okay.
I'm gonna hand you a couple of photographs. Special agent Hodge. And actually, you recognize those.
Yes, this would be the area in Decatur County that we went to search, an aerial view of it.
And I put that. I think there's a pointer or link
Yes.
up there somewhere. This is what's up here now has previously been marked as if you could kind of give us an idea of what we're looking at here. I see a road down there. What road is that?
This is actually the interstate, and this is an access road that runs parallel with the interstate.
That's I-40.
Yes, sir.
Which way is that truck going?
He is going west.
All right. Can you point to us generally where the scene was that you recall to?
Actually, I don't think you can see in this photograph because this is the cell tower where the staging area was. And where we actually were processing the area was farther back this way, probably 200 to 250 yards.
A couple hundred yards. Okay. Now, those other two photographs, you recognize those also as aerial photographs of the same scene?
Yes, sir. I can see the cell tower and then the sawmills on either side of the cell tower.
Okay. If we have those marked as the next number we do, 79,
All right, can you
82.
please take it down, please?
Well, they're marking them. What's going on as far as your team's arriving? What's happening?
As we begin to arrive, we're taken back to the area where when we got there, there was an area that was initially had already been marked off with some crime scene tape. And this was an area that we were told that skull and other bones had been recovered Those items had been removed prior to our arrival. And then as the UT anthropology individuals got there, they briefed us on what we were looking for and how we would go about it.
We could put number 79 up there. This is just to give us a little bit more perspective of the area we're looking at. Do you recognize that? It's a little further up and farther away, I think.
Yes, I do. Again, there's the cell tower. This is partially one of the sawmills that you can see. The other one is back over in this area.
I think that if we put the number 80 up, that may give us zoom out on that a little bit. You almost see the other sawmill. We push that up a little bit. So the other sawmills would be down where that post is, probably. Is that?
Yes, down in this area. The area where the cell tower is was in between the two sawmills.
You indicated that you're out there with the Tennessee Forensic Anthropology Group. There's other TBI agents out there.
Yes.
What kind of searches are you doing?
We're doing what is called a line search, where individuals, we would stand shoulder to shoulder in a line. And we would move one step at a time in unison and check an area in front of us, moving leaves and twigs and rocks and anything. And then we would continue that process, moving one step at a time in unison, doing that line search.
Were there people out there with metal detectors?
Yes, sir.
Dogs?
The second day, dog handlers were out there on September the 10th, 2014.
Did you, when you initially got there, I guess a little later, were there already other agents out there finding things?
Yes, sir. There were already other TBI agents in the area.
They had done some taping off, like some placards and things like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to hand you I've already shown these to defense. I'm going to hand you 12, most of your photos and one document on the top.
All right, we're gonna wait till
Maybe Mark.
she goes through them.
Number on there, but
Did after we returned from the this
this one's kind of tough to get all on there, but tell us what we're looking at here.
this would be a
All right, so just blooped us past her looking through them and then marking them, and now here's the first one.
a rough sketch drawing that I did after we returned from the 2 days out in the woods, and just laying out in an aerial view the marker numbers and what each of those marker numbers depicted.
Okay. Now, I'll go for this area, the area with the two lines that kind of go out. What is that?
This area here?
The entire area.
Okay. This area that is lined off is a ditch where two hills came together. This was a hill that came down, and this was a hill that came down, and the ditch met in the middle of those two hills. And the ditch is running, you can see downward from, this is the top of the ditch, this is the bottom part of the ditch, and then this is a flattened out area that at the bottom of the ditch.
And is this typically a dry ditch, or is this a heavy water runoff type of a ditch when it rains heavily?
It appears that water would run heavily through that ditch because of how the two hills come together.
Okay. Now the items on what I would call, well, what's the significance of the colors and the numbers?
I have color coded these with pink being human remains, yellow being personal effects, and the blue would be cartridge cases.
Now to the left of what you described as the ditch, what direction is that? I'm sorry, to the left of the ditch right there.
This area?
The 5 yellow numbers
Okay.
there, right there. Yeah.
I was calling that a southwesterly direction. North is in this direction.
Is this sort of a bank of the ditch, a way of describing that?
This area here?
Right.
Yes, it is.
And I see you have out like six items there.
Yes.
They're all in yellow,
Yes, sir.
which would indicate that they are personal effects of some kind that you found on the ditch.
That is
Okay.
correct. Yes, sir, on the bank.
I'm going to put first number 82 up on the screen. And if you could describe to the jury what we're looking at here.
Marker 1 and 2 that can clearly be seen in this photograph is marking what is an inhaler and a cloth strap.
Now this flag, who puts the flag there? Is that part of the team when something's found?
Yes, in a wooded area like this, it's easy, or in a large area also, it's easy to place flags so that they can be easily seen, so that we can place markers next to the item in order for us to identify them.
So one person might see something they think is relevant and they'll put a flag there.
That's correct.
Then you come back later to actually get an idea of what it is.
That's correct.
All right. We can have the next number, which is 82. 83. This is 83. Agent Hodgson. Tell us what we're looking at here.
This is a close-up of marker 1, which is the inhaler.
Fast forward. Bad.
So Holly was asthmatic.
Photographs up there. Take a look at that bag and let us know if that's the inhaler we're looking at on the photograph.
Yes, sir, it is.
If we could have that marked as the
Is
next
it
number.
93?
93.
All right, let me
Show this to you.
Okay.
slow this down a little bit.
Need your sunglasses for that.
All right, slowed it down a little bit.
Thank you. Now we're going to put exhibit 84 on the overhead. Take a look at that. And you have to tell us what we're looking at there.
This is item marker number 2, which is the cloth strap.
Okay, is that, you know what that strap might go to?
I believe it belonged to the purse that was found.
I'm going to hand you a bag. Take a look at that bag. Let us know what that is.
Does anyone know how far apart all these items being found are? Are they like miles apart? Walking a certain path apart, not too far off? It seems like they're in totally different places. Here, I'll keep an eye out on the chat. Maybe K Riggs knows.
Do you want me to open it?
Yes.
Okay.
And you want me to do that even though I have no gloves on?
And inside is the cloth strap.
We'll get it done.
Oh,
Is
she
that-
does
is that
have a
the,
glove on.
The strap that we're looking at in the photograph.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, we can have that. That has been marked as exhibit 85 on the
I get it.
overhead. Now, we're still on what we're calling sort of the west bank of this ditch
Yes, sir.
where all these items were found. So all these items are still personal items.
Yes, sir. They were in that area on the hillside of the ditch.
Another bag. So go ahead and open that bag and let us know if you recognize that. I have some scissors for you.
Oh, that would be great.
Be careful.
Thank you.
Oh, I mean, like the phone, the SIM card, and now like the bucket, the remains, and all this stuff. Like, is that stuff nowhere near each other? Right? DB saying like the stuff, you know, some of this stuff wasn't visible from the bucket. But yeah, I get that. That's the same general area of where the ginseng hunter was. But what about the woman on her bike playing I Spy and the woman that worked with her that found the phone? DB says, oh, those are miles apart. No, allergic to idiots. They are supposed to be wearing gloves when they handle the evidence. But so far, this witness, who happens to be a forensic scientist, is the only one that we've seen actually wearing gloves because she knows she's supposed to wear gloves. But the state has not given gloves to anyone. They've just been having people handle the evidence. All right, let's keep going. So, and I had a couple people say, slow it down. I went down to, I think, 1.35. So I don't mind going down to 1.25. Just let me know if you're having a problem.
Yes, this is the item we see in the picture, marker number 3.
Okay, now if we can have that marked as the next one.
And the contents are what?
We have pictures of the contents. I believe mostly it was markers and ink pens.
But this was personal.
This was a small purse, I believe was inside the larger purse. Yes, sir, small purse.
All right, that'd be exhibit 95.
I just, we could publish that to the jury.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. And to follow up on the judge's question, there are items inside of that purse?
Yes, sir.
What's inside?
Yes, sir. There are pencils, ink pens, and highlighters inside the purse.
Okay. Is that school items and things of that nature?
Yes, sir, they appear to be.
We're going to put next number to on the overhead. This is page 6. This, what are we looking at? Okay.
These are the items that were inside this small purse. So in addition to ink pens, markers, and pencils, there was a thumb drive.
And generally, when you're on the scene and you find something like this, a purse or something that may contain other items, do you open them up and photograph them right there on the scene?
We did just a general photograph like this, but yes, we will open things that we discover, such as this purse, small purse, and just see what's inside the contents. We may not pull everything out and lay it out to photograph it, but we just get a general idea of what's in there and photograph it.
And for anybody new, DB has done an amazing map. He's put this up in chat so that you guys can see it if you want. Maybe Bob and I wonder, DB, if we can share that on the community page or something. And he notes it has all the evidence locations on it. So just so you guys know, when I'm clicking and somebody responds, it's like, I know K Riggs knows everything about this case. I know DB knows where items were found. He's mapped everything out to a T. So we're not just putting up, anyone's answers. It's, people who know what they're talking about. And thankfully, we have a lot of resources here in our chat, best chat in the land. Remind me in case when I get off here, we forget, like either shoot Bob a message or something. I want to get that up on the community page. But again, here is the link to that. All right, I'll keep it up there for a minute.
Remember the next number of exhibits, page 7 on the overhead. Do you recognize that?
Yes, that is the purse.
It looked like that strap we looked at earlier may go to this purse.
Yes, sir, I believe it does.
I'm going to show you what's previously been marked as exhibits.
And I did put up DB's comments where he gave us some info that the remains found directly north of Holly's house, about 8 miles north, and the SIM card about a mile or two east of Holly's house. And again, it's all on the map. So this stuff, the various people found all these various things a good distance apart from each other.
It's 31.
Oh, that's already been found.
Yes, sir. I just want to make sure I got the right exhibit number for records 31. I'll just go ahead and hold on. You can go ahead and do it.
Everyone's saying you enter witness here in Bobo.
Is that item you're holding in your hands what we see in the photograph here and you found on the West Braintree ditch?
Yes, sir. This is what is in the photograph marked as marker number 4.
If you could show that to them, it's another legit.
All right, we'll move past her showing it to
And
the
marker
jury.
is
Item marker number 4, the purse, as we were beginning to open it up and examine the contents.
does that appear to be an item that has been sitting in the dirt near a ditch for some time?
Yes, sir. Actually, it was covered with leaves. There was only a small portion of the purse sticking out of the ground, so we had to remove leaves and twigs in order to pull this purse up to the surface.
Okay. Were there contents in that purse or around that purse as well?
Yes, sir, there were.
Okay. We're going to put exhibit 89 on the overhead, and is that the contents?
Yes, sir.
In this purse? A couple of these things have already been marked as exhibits. I'm going to hand you what has been previously marked as exhibit 33. If you can take that out and take a look at it. Look into this exhibit 33, the keys that we're seeing there.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. You can hold those for just a second. I'm going to hand you another item that has already been marked. This is exhibit number 32.
This item is also in this picture, and it is the camera
The camera. Okay.
right here.
If you could show those to the jury, I don't know that they got a good look at them when they're initially entering the evidence.
All right, so we'll pause. We'll zip past her showing it to the
Tell
jury.
us what that is.
found in the smaller purse, which was marker number 3 that I showed earlier.
Yeah, we have that marked as the next number 2.
We are at 96.
So the tube of lipstick came from a multicolored smaller purse.
Yes, sir, marker number 3.
All right, just gonna show her another item. Oh, she's gonna show
Those two
lipstick.
bags up.
The first item is lipstick that is shown here in the picture.
All right, more lipstick.
The second item is the compact mirror that is shown.
That's the
Back
west
there.
side of that. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We have those marked as the next 2 number exhibits, Your Honor. So lipstick would be number 9.
Oh, now she's showing the compact and the lipstick.
Contained in the purse.
Okay.
All right, showing more lipstick.
Now we have what is marked as exhibit 2 on the overhead. I'm sorry, 92 on the overhead. I think that's what we're looking at. It's kind of hard to see.
Right here is a blister pack of gum.
Where was that? Was that the same area?
This was in the area where the purse and the chapstick that I just showed you
Chapstick.
was located. It was all on the ground. This item, again, was not in the purse, either the small or the big one. It was on the ground.
Okay, but some agents found that in this general area where these other personal items are.
Yes.
So
All right.
To my left right here, okay? Those are all personal effects?
Yes, sir.
What I want to do next is I want you to describe for the jury all of those items that you found within that ditch, okay? And I'm going to hand you a stack of photographs. And defense counsel's already seen these. Depict that ditch as it was.
First, she's looking through the photographs.
I'm going to ask you just a question. This chart that shows this ditch, downhill we can see that it's going, I guess, to the north. Is that right?
Yes, this is downhill.
Now, in this ditch, according to the legend, there are some yellow marked numbers. There are also some, there's like pink or some purple numbers.
Yes.
What do those indicate?
Again, the pink, no, highlighted numbers are human remains, and the yellow are personal effects.
We have exhibit number 100 on the overhead. Is this, Agent, how to do this?
How disgusting and horrible. Seriously, how disgusting and horrible. I just don't understand. Just scattering the remains like that.
A bit of an overview of the area.
Yes, sir, it does.
If you could describe what we're looking at.
This is a photograph looking back up the hill. This is the hill coming down and another hill coming down, and you have the ditch that met in between the two hills.
Okay. And all the things that we're getting ready to look at were found within that ditch flowing.
Yes, within this area of the ditch.
Okay. We have a 101 on the overhead. That's kind of tough to see. But you can describe what we're looking at here.
Marker number 34 is a black hair tie, and it can faintly be seen where I'm circling in this area.
Okay. That would be at sort of the top of the ditch. Which is the first thing you found at the top of the ditch?
Yes, on the diagram we had up earlier, that was at the top of the ditch, and other things were down below
Okay.
it.
So the subsequent things are.
Are we talking south going north?
Yes, please. Yes, Your Honor, we're
That's
talking
what that's
this
what I-
direction. Yes, sir.
Orienting.
Yes, sir. South to north, that's correct. Yes, I do recognize it.
Yeah, you have that marked as. I guess.
All right, so I'm
Right, please.
Uh,
Black hair band.
I'm gonna skip through her recognizing it again. So we'll go wait on the photo, we'll hear what they say, and then we'll go to the next photo and not wait for her to take it out and show everybody.
35 is a piece of pink fabric that I am circling in this area here.
And then the next exhibit,
Marker 36, the area I'm circling is a ring.
I'm gonna hand you.
Now she's
that's like
taking
a
out
rim mark.
the ring and the,
Your-
okay.
36 is a ring that I'm circling,
And the next,
ring from the previous photograph.
we're still at kind of the top of the ditch or the south side of the ditch. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna hand you what had previously been marked as,
Marker number 36.
exhibit.
So, we'll take one out of discussion of your testimony, okay?
Yes, sir,
Then
Your
we'll
Honor.
continue right after lunch.
All right. So we'll go to the next
All right,
video.
you continue.
This is marker 37, and the area I'm circling is an earring.
And just to get us back to where we were, this is that middle, this is the actual ditch. To the left, we had all those personal belongings. To the right, we had some other items. But this is in the ditch, more toward the south end of the ditch.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
I hand you a bag. You could open that bag and take it.
All right, so she is on for the rest of the day, and I just want to note, and I'll try to give warning as we get closer. Actually, I'm going to look right now to see when it was. I could see at some point they're actually going to show the remains. I'm going to, I think, skip over that. I don't think it adds anything to, well, maybe the bullet hole does, but I don't know. I guess maybe we should hear from you guys. So, boy, it starts. Oh no, it's not with this witness. It is not with this witness. It's with the next witness. Let me just double check. Okay, so it's not with this witness. We'll discuss it when we get to the next witness. I'm going to continue what I was doing. We'll get her to say what the item is, and then we'll skip the opening of the item and showing of the item to the jury.
This is the earring that is in the picture.
Okay, that's the earring.
You have this personal system 10. We're in a ditch here, still correct?
Yes, that is correct. And I believe it is somewhere in this area, there is a tooth.
Okay. Let's move to the next. 08. Is that the same? It looks like the same placard.
I can't tell if that's 32 or, well, let me check, or 30.
Photograph, and you can see a little better on that.
Yes, sir, this is 32.
A pretty deep ditch in that area, at least. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, this area, I would say is several feet deep.
Okay. Now, when you and your team found actual remains or items that you thought were remains, what did you do with those?
Well, we photographed them and we packaged them into brown paper bags. And then I personally turned those over and signed those over to Special Agent Brent Booth.
Okay. And to your knowledge, were they then taken to the West Tennessee Forensic Center in Memphis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have,
And there is one here. This is teeth. There's one here and there is one here. We marked those as one marker because they were so closely together. So that's two teeth at mark.
That's not me, guys.
give it to Brent Booth where they were taken to Memphis. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay.
That is also in the ditch.
Also,
That is a tooth. That is marker number 30. That is also in the ditch. That's correct.
down that ditch, is that correct?
At the southern portion of the ditch, the upper portion. And as we're going through these markers, we're going downhill in the ditch.
Is it 111?
This would be a bone, what was described as a rib.
That was also delivered to Memphis West Tennessee Forensic Lab.
Yes, sir.
So the next witness is the Memphis lab, and from what I can see, the pictures are very, very clear. It actually looks like it's pictures of the actual items on a white backdrop. So I think if you don't want to see that when we get to the next witness, you're gonna wanna skip out. These pictures of her showing these are very, you can't really tell what you're seeing.
Marker number 25 is a hoop earring.
Okay.
Over a silver portion, and then it's coming around like that.
Okay, you're not going to hand you a,
25.
you can
Smaller things, teeth. We
unearth all these items.
some of the items, such as the bones, we would just see. Most of the smaller things, the teeth, was the second day we concentrated in the ditch area by scooping the dirt out one shovel at a time, small shovels, and putting them in 5-gallon buckets. And we had sifters, and we would sift through the dirt. But basically, we were uncovering the small things, such as the teeth, one scoop of dirt at a time.
Yeah, we should publish that hoop earring that we were just talking about.
All right, so
Marker number 27 is a pink fiber with a label. And marker number 9 is a rib. And I'm not sure if I can pick it out. I'm not sure exactly on marker number 9 where it is, but it is somewhere in this area close to marker number 9. Yes, I see it now.
Okay. I'll put it back on.
Okay.
Can you find it when I put it back
Yes,
on?
sir. This is the rib right here,
Okay,
the bone.
that's right near that pink fiber that we've already seen some of. Is that correct?
This is a different pink fiber.
Okay.
The pink fiber we had earlier was different than that was really a piece of fabric. This is literally a fiber, a string, a pink string with a small label attached.
Yeah.
Number 9 is the rib.
27. I'm going to hand you.
okay, so she's gonna open up, show 27 to the jury.
Marker number 26 is a tooth.
I'm going to put the chart back up there so we can kind of have an idea of where we are now as far as in the ditch. That was marker 26, and we indicated it was 2.
Yes, sir. Marker 26 is located right here.
So we're about halfway, or a third way down roughly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that tooth we just talked about was also delivered to the West Tennessee Forensic Center, correct? And,
Yes, sir.
you can see what that is.
Marker number 7 and marker number 8 are each a rib.
Okay. Can you tell where they are? From the
Not
photograph?
from this angle on the screen.
I'll hand you that's number 7.
Yes, sir.
And I will put exhibit 118. Both of those ribs, you also, same process where you took those and gave them to Special Agent Booth, who then delivered them to the West Tennessee Forensic Center.
Yes, sir.
What are we looking at here?
This is another rib, marker 38 here.
What is it?
Marker number 6 is a tooth. I see marker number 6, which was the tooth that we just had up there, a close-up, so
Okay.
it's right in this
I think
area.
we got those reversed. Okay, and that's where that's a broader view of where the.
Another marker.
Okay.
5 is a rib to the flat area.
Was delivered to the West Tennessee from 2 on.
Should be turned
There you
counterclockwise. There we go. This is at the bottom, closer to the level area at the bottom of the ditch, and this is going back up. So number 5, number 6 was above it, and so forth from how we came down through with the markers.
And I'm going to turn back up so you can kind of show us with your graph where we are now.
The previous picture of number 5 was taken standing down in this area, taking the picture up this way, back up the ditch.
So now exhibit 123.
This picture is at the bottom of the ditch. The ditch is coming along through here, and this is toward the bottom where it starts to level out.
Now we have a better close-up view of that, and this is exhibit 124. So you can tell us what we're looking at on this one.
And marker number 12 are 2 ribs.
Those 2 ribs are also delivered to the West Tennessee Forensic Center. We have what are we looking at here?
This is at the bottom of the ditch in the leveled out area, and that's marker number 28.
Is that the last item that you found?
Yes, sir, in that ditch.
Did you guys go and we have a closer view of that item you found there, but did you guys go further How far out did you go, if you can remember, as far as the entire crime scene?
From the ditch, on either side of the ditch, we probably went approximately 20 yards. And then on the north where it levels out, this area here, we went approximately another 20, 25 yards, and the same in most all directions from the ditch.
And this was the last item that you were able to find in this direction?
Yes, sir.
Fair to say. We're going to put up Exhibit 126. Is that a closer view of that last item in the ditch?
Yes, it is.
What is that?
That is a lotion bottle.
We have one other photograph.
Black hair tie was 128.
Okay, directed. Yeah, this is Exhibit 127. And what is that?
This is the lotion bottle that was at marker 28.
You guys tagged this lotion bottle as well?
Yes, sir, we did.
I'll fast forward a bag.
That,
We looked at everything that you found within that ditch and at the bottom of the ditch, correct?
that is correct.
We've looked at all the items that you found on the west side of the bank of the ditch on the west side, correct?
That's correct.
There are also, looks like a number of things that are eastern side of the ditch.
Yes,
Okay. A number of things were found there, is that right?
that is correct. Yes.
Also, it looks like a variety of things. I see some yellow and, well, some different colors over there. You found some remains over there?
Are you talking about this area
Yes.
here? This is the area that I spoke of earlier that had already been taped off when we arrived on the scene in September the 9th, 2014. There weren't any items in here, but the markers were left to where those items were.
Okay. And you're aware of the items that were found there?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hand you 17 photos. And if you will look through those, let us know if you recognize those items, those photographs.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the witness testifying about something that's not based on her personal knowledge.
Judge, we talked about this. I talked with them about it.
I guess I didn't understand, Your Honor, about the fact that it's not based on her personal knowledge.
Well, she indicated she has personal knowledge of the items. I spoke with the defense counsel about these photographs and indicated to them that although she knows what was found
They were
there.
going to try to stipulate to speed things up.
Right.
If this is something that she can testify, she knows where it was. Is this-
As long as they lay a foundation that she knows where these things are, Your Honor, I just want to be clear about that. If they can lay a foundation that she knows where they are, that's fine. But if it's just some kind of guessing,
Well, what I'm saying is, can we get this to one witness rather than calling multiple others that would accomplish the same purpose?
I just want to make sure the information she's going to give is accurate. So if
Which
they,
certainly, I understand that.
okay, so if they can lay a foundation of how she would know this information to be accurate, then that's fine.
Okay.
Apparently I misunderstood it earlier when we were discussing.
Well, from that one, I tried to encourage the parties to stipulate or do things that might expedite knowing the length of time this trial could have taken. And I've not just done it over here, I've done it both sides, okay?
Special Agent Hodge, you were one of the leaders out there on this crime scene, correct?
That is correct.
You've personally viewed almost every item out here, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I have.
Do you have personal knowledge of, and you've indicated that there are several items, and there were remains that were moved to the West Tennessee Forensic Center prior to your arrival, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The placards for those items were still there, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Were you provided knowledge of where the placards are?
Yes,
Items that
sir.
were there?
Yes,
Is
sir, I
that
was.
correct? And you've reviewed photographs of all of those items several times before, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I have.
And those photographs that you have up there, are they the photographs, and do they depict many of those items that were already taken to the West Tennessee Forensic Center?
I'm not quite through the photos yet, if I may.
Correct?
Yes, sir. Photographs that depict what was in the, yes, sir. And yes, these are the photographs that depict what was in the area.
And this is the area that we are, it's on the eastern side.
This area here that was marked off prior to our arrival.
Okay.
I'm satisfied, Your Honor, the placards were still there when she got there, and there's pictures that match placards.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, if we can have these entered as next.
134 through 150, I believe. Give her a few moments.
Where you found these items relative to the other items that you found?
You talking about the items here, the markers?
Correct.
Okay, they were uphill from this ditch. So this is one of the hills that was going up, and just like this hill was going up where the ditch met in the middle. So this area was uphill from the ditch and what we found in the ditch.
Did you notice anything about some of the items that were found in this area that might give you clues to how they got there?
I didn't see the items.
Well,
in a,
there were some personal belongings found up there as
oh,
well.
yes, sir. Yes, yes. The things that were found uphill from this area had teeth marks from animals that had chewed on the items or carried them or whatever, but there were teeth marks.
Did you and your team find any kind of animals or evidence of animals living up in this area?
We did. We saw coyote dens, a larger one and a smaller one that were at the end of the second day. A backhoe was brought in and we excavated those coyote dens to see if there were any more remains or personal effects in those dens.
And so, to summarize, this is raised up significantly from this.
Yes, this is uphill.
All right, so that explains at least their theory on how all these items and the remains got scattered in the manner that they were, that animals were involved in that process.
And then it starts to kind of slightly go back downhill once you get up here to where marker number 31 is.
Okay. We're going to put what is marked as exhibit 134 on the overhead. And if you could tell us what this appears to be.
This is a bone that was found in the area that was marked off prior to our arrival, that was uphill from the ditch.
Okay. Now we're going to put that in 135 on the overhead. If you could tell us what we're looking at here.
This is another bone that was in the area that was marked off prior to our arrival, that was uphill from the ditch.
Now we're going to put exhibit 136 on the overhead. Just give a better maybe an overview of
Yes, where this picture was taken, to the back of the individual taking this photograph was the ditch. So this is showing the uphill area to the taped off portion that was taped off prior to our arrival.
and I can see is that crime scene tape at the top, I guess at the top of that hill there?
Yes, and there was actually two areas taped off. There was one larger area and then another area inside that you can see on my drawing.
Okay.
But yes, that's what that is.
Now,
All right, guys. So I do see with this next witness coming up a very clear picture of the skull in the ground. And then after that, it looks more like far away pictures until we get to the next witness. But it's coming up. So if you don't want to see that, hop off.
we've already talked about, you found that there were a number of remains found in this area, correct?
That is correct.
And were all of those items, to your knowledge, tagged and brought to the West Tennessee Forensic Center by Special Agent Brent?
I don't know who took them to the forensic center, but I do understand they were taken to the forensic center with all the other remains we had found.
Okay. We're going to put exhibit 137.
In the area that was taped off prior to our arrival.
Okay. We're going to put exhibit 130. And is that what is that?
That's a close-up of a bone that was found in that taped off area prior to our arrival.
Okay. What are we looking at here?
This is the skull that was found in the taped off area uphill from the ditch prior to our arrival.
Okay.
And again, this is the skull that was located in the taped off area prior to our arrival.
Exhibit 141.
This is standing inside the taped off area, showing marker 17, and I believe that is 18.
Okay. Now, what is that? We know that marker 17 is the skull. Can you tell what marker 18 is from there or from your chart?
No, sir, I can't.
Okay. Exhibit 142. What are we looking at here?
And this is a close-up of marker 18. It is a bone that was in that taped off area prior to our arrival.
Does that appear to be a lower jaw?
It does, yes, sir.
Exhibit 143. Is that a close-up of what we've just seen?
Yes, this is the close-up of the previous picture, marker 18.
144. Can you see what that is?
No, sir, I'm not sure that I have that.
And a little bit closer.
It appears to be a piece of plastic. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we did.
So if you could point to the, I can see it right now. It's
Yes, it's right here.
the piece of plastic up in that area.
Yes, sir, in the area that was marked off prior to our arrival.
Compared to Exhibit 145.
I'm not sure I can tell from the picture.
I'll hand this to you. Closer look.
Oh, yes, now I can see it. Yes.
What does that look like?
The- I'll let you put it. It is some cloth material that was marked in that area but had been removed prior to our arrival.
What is that?
This is a wallet.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What'd you do with the wallet? Did you take a look at it?
Yes, sir, we did.
I'm gonna put up with marked as Exhibit 147. And you guys, your team opened up the wallet, correct?
Yes, sir, we did.
And is that it?
Yes, sir, it is.
148. That's a close up of the of what?
That is a close-up of Holly Bobo's driver's license.
And that was found in this area that we've been describing, where the skull was found, where other human remains were found, correct?
Yes, it was not in the area that was taped off prior to our arrival. It was on up the hill from that area. It was farthest from the ditch.
Angie, what has previously been marked as a exhibit? Is it a wallet with the identification that I'm looking at?
Yes, sir, this is the wallet that contained the driver's license of Holly Bobo.
Are there indications on that wallet that may have been some animals that dragged it up or chewed on it or something like that?
Yes, sir, there is.
If you could, if you could publish that to the jury or just 30. Is everything else? Item that's farthest out, at least to the east, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Was that where the den was over there somewhere?
One of the dens, yes,
Okay.
was not far from that.
I'm going to put up what is marked as Exhibit 149, a faraway shot. Can you tell what that is?
That is the bottom portion of a black flip-flop.
So you saw from those pictures that there also appeared to be credit cards in that wallet. I'm just going to go back here. Maybe can't see them great there. I thought I saw some. There we go. Unless these are all IDs, be interested to know if this is just an ID or a credit card. But credit cards being left behind would be strange if drug addicts were responsible. People looking for money. All right, just going to get past her showing them to the jury and to the next item.
That is the bottom portion of a black flip-flop, the sole portion.
Okay. I put Exhibit 150.
The flip-flop here, the sole
And
of the black flip.
if you could take a look at that and tell us what that is.
This is the thumb drive that was from the smaller plastic purse that also had the ink pens and the highlighters in.
Okay. That's one of the things we saw at the very beginning that was on the west side of the ditch.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if we could have that amended as
Gloved both hands now, thankfully.
This is an earring that was from the purse, which was marker number 4.
okay. Now is that the purse and that was the purple, the larger purple purse?
The larger purse that was cloth material.
Now if we could go back to nearly everything on here, correct?
That is correct, yes.
You guys found a lot of stuff over a fairly long period of time. How long were you out there?
We were out there for 2 full days.
You've already indicated you had metal detectors, you had dogs, you had a backhoe. What else? You were sifting through the dirt. You had anthropologists out there, a number of TBI agents out there, all working together to try to find everything you could. Right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
You went to the east, to the west, and to the north of this scene, correct?
Yes, we did.
And this is all you were able to find.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there are a few other items. I see some blue shaded items.
Yes.
Okay. And what were those?
The blue items that you see here were cartridge cases and a shot shell case.
Okay. I'm going to hand you 3 photographs. If you could tell us if those accurately depict those casings as they were that day. Here, what's the next? First one, that is
4 is a 308 cartridge case.
308 cartridge case.
Yes, sir.
And we can go back to the 81. Where is that on this exhibit?
It is right here.
308 is right there. And you,
Where?
that is placard number 24, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Your bag.
So maybe it was blocked.
Item number 24.
There's a portion of the exhibit that's blocked by like a screen or something down here, so we might not be seeing the entire thing. Just putting different gloves on. You can see now she's been changing her gloves between each item, which is the actual correct thing to do.
Caliber cartridge case.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, blew back.
Yes, this is the 308 caliber cartridge case.
Okay.
Now, the caliber cartridge case is important because there's some discrepancy about what the weapon was that was used versus the weapon that they found that the defendant owned, and if the lawyers understood that difference. So
Have that kind of marked as next number.
Second 308.
No, sir, it's the first and only 308
Okay,
cartridge
that's
case.
what was depicted in 154.
Yes.
Okay, I got ahead of myself. Okay.
Yes. It's also on this target, that's number 24, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So that's sort of to the right and down from where everything else was.
Yes, it's located right here.
so we're not seeing right here because it's blocked.
155 over there.
Marker 13 is a 380 auto caliber cartridge case.
380 auto.
Yes, sir.
380 auto cartridge case.
If we could have 81 put back on the overhead, tell us where you found that.
13 was located right here closer to the ditch.
Okay. That's for another bag.
13.
Okay.
This is a 410 shot shell case.
Okay. Go back to
410.
81 and you can tell us where this was.
23 inside the taped area that had previously been marked off prior to our arrival.
Okay. I'm going to hand you
All right, so now we're in that little diamond looking.
Case in the bag.
the
Exhibit 151.
I just got confused as to which was in the section.
yes. If you could just
Let me say this, it's a little muggy, we're doing all we can do. This system, I think, is under capacity. I'm glad now we didn't try this in July, so, because this is September, and still they haven't set on like 63, so we're doing the best we can. It or not.
Showing them the shell casing.
knowledge were these things or any of these things sent away for testing or anything like that? Do you know?
The remains went to Memphis, as we spoke of earlier, and then the personal effects and the cartridge cases were submitted to the TBI crime laboratory.
Okay. Your job, though, isn't to follow up on testing or to do testing or anything like that?
I do testing on firearms evidence, but once it's submitted into the laboratory and goes to the respective units, then I don't keep up with it. No, sir.
In this particular situation, was your job more to discover, properly package, catalog, and deliver these items to where they need to be?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay. And did you memorialize everything that you did out there, you and your team, in a report?
Yes, I did.
I forgot one thing.
Sneeze alert.
That's a scene these and they have a photograph of them. I'm going to show you a couple of what we do one at a time. And it's sort of difficult to get perspective when you're in the woods, right?
Yep.
And trying to figure out where things are in relation to one another. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
You guys made I'm going to show you this. Tell us what this is. You can get down there.
Okay.
You should get down there.
Right. Actual drawing that I had done that we talked about previously. And the stars go with each picture showing where they were located along the ditch and up the hill.
showing now? What's the number in the top right corner?
17, I think. Was that right?
Yes, sir.
This poster to get the logistics of what we're looking at. This is the ditch, and this is the southern part of the ditch, which is uphill. And this is going downhill, as you can see, to that lower point where it starts to flatten out in this area. This is the area that is up the hill from the ditch where the skull, the mandible, and other items, bones were found that had been removed prior to our arrival that had the blocked off area.
The take-in area, right there.
Right here, Your Honor.
Okay.
So this is uphill from the ditch, and this is the top of the ditch, the southernmost point going downward. And each picture is a star that shows their location.
I forgot that there is the next number that we live in. Okay. If you could describe what we're looking at here,
This is
just briefly, and then we'll have.
Okay.
That's not me, guys.
Okay.
This is another aerial photo and a photograph of the ditch with the markers of most of the personal effects.
This focuses more on personal effects.
Yes.
And if we could have this entered as the next number, two,
Big 161.
describe what we're looking at here, especially behind.
This picture is showing marker 27 and marker 25, and this is looking back up the hill. So the photograph is taken from North Point looking south.
So I don't find any of this testimony like helpful at all, since we know that items were moved and relocated by animals. Plus, we can't see this, so I'm making an executive decision to skip right past that and see where we go.
Yes.
All right, cross-examination time.
You see our homemade lens cover? They have blind paper coming in, so it's not very sophisticated, but it works.
First, Ms. Hodge, let me just ask you so I understand. You said some of the items, the teeth and other small fragments, you found by sifting the dirt.
That is correct, yes.
And I noticed you had pictures of these items, though. Did you take?
Yes.
So after you sifted the dirt and you found something, then did you set it back down on the ground by where you found it?
No, ma'am. The removal of the dirt, as I spoke of earlier, one shovel at a time, would reveal the small items like the tooth. So they were photographed as they were found in the ditch.
So you were kind of shaving away dirt, would take a photograph. You weren't placing things back. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Just wanted to be clear on that. Then this other item here, you described it, and let me see if I can zoom in on this. I don't know how clear it is. There. You had described this as cloth, but it appears to be some kind of woven fabric like a bag fertilizer might come in.
Yes, that's possible. Yes.
It appears to be that the fabric's woven out of kind of a waxy plastic material, like a burlap, a plastic burlap. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it's not a fabric cloth.
That was the term that I used, but this was one of the items that was removed prior to our arrival, so I did not see it. I've only identified it through a photograph.
Okay, very good. No further questions.
All right.
No regrets there.
All right.
You have a minute.
Oh, yeah, you can use that mic.
First and last, please.
Marco, M-A-R-C-O, Ross, R-O-S-S.
Okay, so this is the witness who they start to get into. You've got like a lot of the remains, close-ups of the remains, so that's just a warning here. And we'll blew past all this guy's background because I don't think it's significant in this particular case for this trial. So we'll but now I just Marco Ross. Okay.
Okay, you see.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, I mean, oh, yeah, you can use that microphone, Doctor. It's been pushed up a little bit. What do you do?
I'm a forensic pathologist and the Deputy Chief Medical Examiner at the West Tennessee Regional Forensic Center.
Is that in Memphis?
That's correct.
What kind of education do you have to do to be a forensic pathologist?
Well, in my case, I graduated from Tulane Medical School in 1985, completed a residency in general surgery at the University of South Carolina in 1991, and then I served as a surgeon in the United States Navy for 4 years. And from 95 to 99, I completed a residency in anatomic and clinical pathology at the University of Vermont, and then a forensic pathology fellowship at the University of North Carolina, which I completed in 2000. From the next 2.5 years, I served as a medical examiner in Phoenix, Arizona. Then I served as a medical examiner in airport science at the pathology.
What's the first thing you do on an autopsy like that?
Well, in a typical autopsy, that involves a more intense an injury.
Now, the remains here were initially examined by a different doctor, correct?
That's correct.
Is that Dr. Karen Chancellor?
Yes, she's the chief medical examiner.
She's currently on leave, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you have her report, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that a report that's kept in the normal course of business by the West Tennessee Forensic Center?
Yes, it is.
And are those reports accurate?
Yes, they are.
You're not just relying off that report that was testified today, are you?
No, I actually had the opportunity to examine the remains myself.
Okay. I'm going to defense counsel look at these photographs. Check these. I'm going to count them, but there are 6.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, 12. We're ready to. That's fine. You can make it a little bit. Bring it a little bit. See. No, that's good. Doctor, are these the items that were delivered to your office from Decatur County?
Yes, they are.
If you could look at those items, there's something that's could be focusing. It's not focused very well. There's a point you have that in your hand already.
Yes.
There are a couple of well, describe what we have in the photograph.
What we received for examination included the skull along with the mandible, with some teeth present in there, as well as several individual loose teeth, the left scapula or shoulder blade, and there were 6 ribs here. There's actually a 7th. It looked like a rib. This is just a piece of wood. That was not a rib. There's also another fragment of wood that had been picked up. I think was thought to possibly be a bone fragment. It turns out it's just a piece of wood. Down here is the manubrium, which is the upper part of the sternum. And this here is a non-human bone that was subsequently identified by the anthropology lab as the bone of a common dog.
So I'm counting 7 actual ribs. Is that correct, Doctor? And then there's a piece of wood going from the top on the ribs.
Yes, there are that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ribs, and then the piece of wood.
And then there's a piece of wood.
This other areas.
And how do you begin your examination with remains like these?
Well, we will start by documenting, what bones are there, which bones may be present with the partial remains such as this. We'll try to document specifically which bones they are, and which may give us some ideas.
We see a number of teeth here.
Or help from a forensic odontologist of those and identify.
Compared the teeth that we're looking at here with some existing dental records.
This is a photo of the back of the skull. These are normal sutures that an individual has on the back of the skull. The skull is actually made up of several different bones early in life that come together and fuse along these suture lines. And the top of the head would be towards the top part of the photograph. Here's the base of the skull down here. So the right side of the skull would be here, and here's the left side. And over on the right side of the back of the skull, there is a ovoid defect here that has internal beveling on it. What that means is that the outer edge of the bone is fairly sharply defined, but on the inside surface of the skull, the bone is beveled in an outward manner. And that's pretty typical for a gunshot entrance wound to create that pattern on the bone. In addition, there are these fracture lines that are radiating from the gunshot entrance wound site.
Can you show us again those fractures radiating from the?
Yes, there's one fracture going upward like this, and there's another fracture going downward right there.
Those be caused by?
Those are caused by the bullet causing expansion of tissues inside the skull, which then push the skull outward and secondarily fracture the skull.
Is that the expansion? What causes the expansion?
As the bullet passes through the tissue, the energy of the bullet is dissipated into the surrounding tissues, and those tissues will literally expand.
Okay, and that can cause fractures in the skull. I'm going to put the Marcus exhibit 160.
Back of the skull, although now it's taken a little bit more as though from her back right side. And you can see over here is what's called the mastoid process. That's the big bony protuberance that you can feel just behind your ear. And this again shows the bullet location a little bit more as looking straight onto the bullet hole, as opposed to looking at it on its a little bit more towards its side in the previous photograph. And again, one can see a photograph extending upward in this direction, a fracture, and another fracture extending downward in that direction.
165.
And this view is taken more from the right side, so this is looking at the right side of the skull. And again, this here represents the gunshot entrance wound, and of course, the front of the skull is towards the right. This is what remains of the upper jaw on the right side. the orbit or eye would be located just inside the bone in this area. This hole here actually represents the ear canal.
It looks like, Doctor, that the bottom part of the skull is that dirt and debris on the bottom part?
There's some.
I just don't understand why they need to be showing this so much, talking about dirt and debris, all this other stuff, when, it has nothing to do. The bullet hole is obviously important, but they're just leaving these pictures up to get emotion from the jury. It's
Dirt in this area where the skull had been resting on the ground.
So it appears to, does it appear to have been resting that way for some time?
Yes, it did, because once some of this dirt material was cleaned off, there was some brown staining of the skull in this area, which is pretty typical when a bone has been resting in an area for a long time, whereas the other surfaces of the skull were a bit more weathered because of their exposure to the sun and the elements.
Okay. Did you measure, do you know the circumference of the hole of the entry wound?
I believe it was approximately 9 by 11 millimeters.
9 by 11 millimeters. I think we should note
Well,
that.
I'll come back to that. If we could look at the 166. What are we looking at? Here we go.
This is another view of the right side of the skull. This one is taken even more directly right onto the right, so the bullet hole is seen here more towards the back of the skull. Of course, the more recognizable orbit in upper jaw up here. Again, this represents the opening to the ear canal. And there are some fractures, in addition to the fracture back here, there's also a fracture of this mastoid process here, which again is associated with the gunshot wound.
Are those also, is that a fracture on the right eye over here at the socket and up to the...
These are actually normal suture lines, but there is actually a fracture running right along here on the right side of the maxilla.
Could those fractures have been caused by that same bullet?
They're all consistent with this gunshot wound, yes.
Let me show you 167. What are we looking at here?
This is a photograph taken showing the left side of the skull. And again, just the eye orbit here is where the ear would be located. And there are also some fractures that can be seen on this side associated with the gunshot wound. In addition, and it will be better appreciated in other views, but much of the left side of the maxilla is absent because the bullet actually exited this area of the left side of the face. So a portion of that bone is absent because of that.
So, and did you indicate that some of these fractures on the left side of the skull could also be caused by, did you already say that caused it?
Yes, yeah, they are consistent with being caused by the gunshot wound.
Why is that now? Can you tell from this skull the range of the wound, or if the wound were, in other words, if the gun were pressed against the head or close to the head or within feet of the head?
No, based on examination of the range, I was unable to determine a range of fire.
Would these fractures be consistent with a close-up wound?
Yes, they would be.
168, Dr. We see a metal rod going through. If you could describe it to us, what this is.
This is a photograph showing the bottom of the skull. So in this case, it's as if you're standing underneath, looking upwards into the skull. This hole here is what's called the foramen magnum. So this is the part of the skull that sits on top of the spine, and the spinal cord goes up through there and connects to the brain. The front of the skull is up here towards the top of the picture. The back of the skull or back of the head would be down here towards the bottom of the picture. This is her right side, and this is her left side. The bullet or the rod goes through the bullet hole, the entrance wound down here on the right back side of the skull. This defect here is an area of the skull known as the clivus. It's in the base of the skull, and it's an area right sort of next to where the brainstem would lie. And this part is missing because there's external
What do you
beveling.
call that?
The clivus, CLIVUS.
Okay.
And the defect here with the external beveling is consistent with the bullet then exiting through this portion of the base of the skull. It continued up through here, and again, a lot of the left maxilla or left upper jaw area is absent because of the gunshot wound continuing through this area, causing fractures in that region as well.
So is that track going, I guess, well, if you could describe, is it right to left?
It's predominantly from her back towards her front and somewhat from her right side towards her left side, and it also had a very slight downward trajectory as well.
Okay.
Looks like this goes on for another 10 minutes with close-ups of the skull.
This is a view of the skull taken sort of from the back with the skull laying on the left side. So the right side of the skull is towards the top of the picture. The left side of the skull is towards the bottom of the picture. Again, it's looking from the back towards the front. So here is the entrance wound defect with a metal rod just showing the passage of the bullet going through this area. Here you can see that's the area of the clivus that the bullet exited at the base of the skull, and then continuing into the area of the left maxilla or upper jaw cheek region.
Thank you, 170.
view of the base of the skull, particularly showing this defect in the clivus in the base of the skull. And again, showing that this is the external beveling I was referring to, instead of the fact that you've got some bone edge here on the inside portion layer of the skull. And in the outer area, you've got this area of defect is back a little bit further. That's what's referred to as external beveling, and is consistent with a bullet passing from inside the skull out through the clivus in that direction.
Now, exhibit 171.
This is another photograph, again, showing the bottom of the skull, but again, taken a little bit more towards the front. So again, the back of the skull is towards the bottom of the picture, the front of the skull towards the top, the orbits of the eyes easily recognized. And again, the defect in the clivus, the bullet would have exited through here and then continued through the left upper jaw and cheek region. A lot of the bone and the teeth are missing in this area because they were multiply fractured from the gunshot wound. There is an edge on the maxilla here where there is that external beveling that I mentioned before, and that again is consistent with the bullet having passed in an outward direction through that area. And the battery has gone dead in the pointer.
Second electrical failure we've had today. This one should be remedied.
Exit through the base of the skull and then proceed through the area of the left upper jaw and cheek area. And again, this area here is where there's some external beveling of bone consistent with the bullet passing out through that area just underneath the left eye.
And that's why it kind of looks like it might be going upward based on that photograph, but it's going downward. Is that correct?
It's slightly a downward trajectory. In other words, it looks upward just because the front of the skull is towards the top of the photograph. So the trajectory is from her back towards her front and from her right towards her left. The downward trajectory refers to as if you were actually looking of the skull from inside. The fact that the entrance defect on the back of the skull is a little bit higher up in the head than this defect in the cheek. So it's just ever so slightly downward because of that, the location of those defects.
I'm going to put the marked as exhibit 172 on the overhead.
The front of the skull, again, the eye orbits are easily recognized, but there are the gunshot exit wound defect is in the region of the left cheek.
Okay, I mean, this is just excessive.
He knows.
Bullet is, by my understanding,
I don't know if there was like pretrial objections to this. I mean, at this point, you did not need to show the jury which we all got the point that she was shot in the back and it went where it passed through, where it came out. Like, why is the judge allowing them to keep putting up all of these, pictures and images of the skull? It's just stupid. All right, so he's going to talk about the bullet. So
what 32 caliber bullet is, by my understanding, has a measurement diameter of 0.32 inches. By converting to inches, the size of the defect in the back of the skull, that's about a 0.36 inch defect. So anything 0.36 or smaller could have caused that defect. So that would be consistent with a 32 caliber bullet causing that defect.
all right, so now somebody in chat talked to me about this. Is this the thing that's all wrong? That the size of the bullet, which way it could be, all of that? Because I know that there's an issue with like which type of gun could have made this, what type of bullet. Okay, this is the part that's all wrong. And I'll keep an eye in chat for someone that might be able to explain it a little bit better. DB, if that's your purview, maybe you want to hop on with me. Ashley says it's a 38, which is 35 millimeter. So I know that this was an issue, and it was an issue that all right, wait. K-Riggs says he's right, but Jennifer Nichols didn't understand that a 380 has a .355 bullet. Okay, and I know K-Riggs knows all of the details. So, and Jennifer Nichols, for those of you who might not know, is the defense counsel. So K-Riggs says, so yes, the bullet in question is smaller, that 0.36, like he said, but Nichols said it was excluded. All right.
What do you think? Larger than 0.36 would likely not have caused that.
2 caliber.
Let me go back here.
0.36 or smaller could have caused that defect. So that would be consistent with a 32 caliber bullet causing that defect.
Oh,
larger than 0.36 would likely not have caused that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Jennifer Nichols is the prosecutor. Okay. And she said in her closing it was excluded. Like when you guys say excluded, you're talking about the gun that Britt owns. I'm assuming, right? That Jennifer Nichols is arguing that the gun that Britt owns, who is like the allegedly a suspect that should have been looked at much longer, and that many people believe allegedly is possibly the perpetrator. So when you guys say that she said it was excluded, that's what we're talking about, right? That the prosecutor was claiming that the gun that Britt owns is excluded. DB says yes, but there was also a 380 auto cartridge at the scene by her skull. Yes, we did hear that. We heard that testimony. And K. Riggs says there was a 380, same thing, 380 casing near Holly's skull to the right, just behind, which matches the trajectory of the casing. So most likely she was killed by a 380. All right, keep going here, and I'll put up any more details on that we get through chat.
Correct.
This wound that we've been describing, doctor, would this be a fatal wound?
Yes, it would.
Did you, what is the manner of death? What does that mean, actually, the manner of death?
The
cause of death, I apologize.
The cause of death is a gunshot wound to the back of the head. And we certify causes of death are those disease processes, injuries, or entities that do result in death.
But it's pretty clear here to you, and your expert opinion, that the cause of death was the gunshot wound to the back of the head that exited through the left side of the front.
That's correct.
Were you able to determine a manner of death?
We classify a manner of death, in this case, as a homicide.
Wow.
Fast forward your
I mean, not that it matters. We know it was a homicide, but
report. You take a look at this and let us know if that's the autopsy report done on the remains of Holly Bobo.
Yes, it is.
And that's the report itself is actually larger because it includes the odontologist and things like that. Is that correct?
The odontology and forensic anthropology report are added onto this to make it part of the full report. Okay. But the actual autopsy report that our office did.
One last thing that your office did you send a rib or a portion of a rib somewhere for DNA analysis?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Do you remember when those were sent, or?
We have 2015.
You are actually a licensed physician, right?
Correct.
So you're licensed to practice medicine.
wait a minute. So this is the first time I've seen any other member of the defense cross-examine anybody.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ross. My name is Jerry Gonzalez. I'm an attorney for Mr. Adams, along with the rest of the defense team. You are actually a licensed physician, right?
Correct.
So you're licensed to practice medicine in the state of Tennessee.
That's correct.
Now, as part of your pathology report, you actually relied in part on the anthropology report. Is that right?
That's correct.
In fact, in the pathology report, which is actually only 2 pages, it doesn't mention anything about the size of the internal defect, does it?
No, it does not.
So when you testified that the internal defect, and we're talking about the smaller hole in the back right of the head, that it was 9 to 11 millimeters approximately, were you doing that by memory? Were you relying on the anthropology report, or what?
Relying on the anthropology report.
Now, the anthropology report actually reports it as 12.10 by 9.24 millimeters, doesn't it?
Yes.
Right. So your 9 by 11 was just an approximation?
Based on memory of reviewing that report, I didn't remember specifically. I knew it was roughly in that range.
Understood. Do you understand the terms pre-mortem and post-mortem?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury what those terms mean?
Pre-mortem means before death, and post-mortem means after death.
So an event that occurred pre-mortem means an event that occurred prior to the actual death of the individual, and post-mortem means an event that occurred after the death, right?
Correct.
And forensic pathology is essentially, in layman's terms, it's the use of scientific knowledge to answer a question, scientific question, or a criminology question, something presented that we're going to use scientific evidence to try and resolve, right?
Correct.
When you, in the, or Dr. Chancellor in the pathology report, determined that the cause of death was the gunshot wound, did you use any actual scientific test to make that determination?
Well, the whole part of our evaluation, which really includes part of the practice of medicine, involves looking at the overall remains of a case, overall remains of an individual, looking at evidence of disease and injury. So in this particular case, the test, if you will, is that of an examination of the remains. So that is really our test is the examination of those skeletal remains.
Well, there was nothing, there was nothing in the examination of the actual skeletal remains that actually allowed you to determine that that hull was made post-mortem or pre-mortem, was there?
Well, the one thing that leads us to believe that this is a pre-mortem wound is the presence of the secondary fractures. There actually had been some studies that were done with gunshots done on skulls, empty skulls, and in those cases, the bullet holes were basically just cut out an entrance and an exit defect without fractures. Fracturing that occurs in the skull from a gunshot wound are secondary fractures that, in this study that they did, they then would put a gelatin inside the skull to sort of represent what would have been the brain inside the skull. In those cases, you did get fractures. So and of course, there have been studies looking at bullet passages through gelatin mold showing tissue expansion. So in these cases, the secondary fractures are the result of of tissue having been present inside the head when the bullet passed through. So at least we know that it wasn't an empty skull that the bullet went through. There was a skull that contained presumably a brain in this case.
Right, so we know it wasn't an empty skull, but in the study you just cited, it was a post-mortem event, was it not?
That's true.
All right, so they fill the skull with usually ballistic gelatin, right?
Yes.
And then they shoot the skull and see if any fractures occurred. And when they filled it with ballistic gelatin, the fractures did occur, but clearly they weren't shooting a living person, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so that was an example of a post-mortem event that still produced the same kind of fractures that you are saying are typical of a pre-mortem event, right?
Yes.
Okay, but we know it was post-mortem.
In that study, yes.
In the study, all right. So the critical part of the analysis that is relative to the fracturing is whether there is some kind of tissue inside the skull frame that will produce the kind of pressure that you said causes the skull to fracture, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you receive a skull that's empty inside of any tissue or ballistic gelatin or other event, you're presuming that at the time of the shooting, there was something inside the skull, right?
Yes.
Some kind of gelatin substance, brain tissue, or
So I can't think right now, and maybe someone in chat can give me some, say something that sheds some light on this, but why does the defense think it's important to establish that they do not and cannot tell whether the bullet to the head happened post-mortem or pre-mortem? Like, how does that help the defense one way or another? Oh, well, maybe because he said he heard a scream, he being Autry. Yeah, okay. This could be useful.
or ballistic gelatin, right?
Correct.
Okay. But there's no way for you to know that the skull either had or it was live tissue or it was post-mortem tissue inside the skull at the time of the shooting is there.
That's true.
Okay. So going back to my original question, there was no scientific evidence that would allow you to conclusively conclude that at the time the shot was fired into that skull, that the individual was alive, is there?
That is true. There's nothing from our examination to state that that was the case.
The only thing you can definitively say is that there was tissue inside the skull at the time.
Yes,
And if an individual is shot in the head after they have already deceased, you'll get the same kind of fracturing, won't you?
that is correct.
So when the pathology report says the cause of death was the gunshot wound, it really should say
Unknown.
presuming the individual was alive at the time.
Well, our cause of death is what we believe to be more likely than not the cause of death in this case.
And you base that on other information you've received, not necessarily scientific data.
That is correct.
Now, you
That's not me. That's
you testified when you were
But I will pause now. When he says other information you received, they're talking about that witness Autry's story, which is why I said, okay, now I see why they want to establish that they don't even know, medically speaking, scientifically speaking, that she was alive at the time of the gunshot. So,
were asked by the prosecution if the bullet hole would be consistent with a close-up, whether the fracture was consistent with a close-up wound. You remember that?
Yes,
But it's also true that it would be consistent with a shot fired at some unknown distance, right?
that is correct.
So again, we go back to the actual written determination in the pathology report that the range of fire is indeterminate, right?
That is correct.
We just don't know from what distance was the gun to the target, right?
Correct.
It could be close, it could be far.
Yes,
In fact, the problem with not knowing the determinate range, being able to determine the range, is that as long as that bullet is causing enough pressure to cause that tissue inside the head to expand, you're going to get the fracture, right?
correct.
So that bullet could be shot point blank, 4 feet away, across the room, and as long as there's that pressure, you're going to get that fraction, right?
That is correct.
You also testified that the bullet hole was consistent with the 32, and then you gave an opinion that the 32 measures at, what did you say, 0.36
I
of an
believe
inch?
0.32.
0.32 of an inch. Now that's actually a rounding figure, right?
I believe it is.
In other words, a 32 caliber bullet actually measured at 0.3125 inches. Isn't that right?
If you say so.
Does that sound right to you?
It sounds correct, yes.
And what did you say about the 0.36 or smaller?
that based upon the anthropologist's measurement of the size of the hole, that the smallest dimension that they had in their 9 point something millimeters, that converts into a 0.36 inches in size.
That the hole does.
That the hole is, yes, the hole is 0.36 inches in size. So that something that size or smaller could have made that defect. In other words, if a bullet were 0.37 or 0.38 or larger in size, it probably could not have made that defect. The defect should have been bigger.
Now, that presumes that the bullet at point of impact was intact, correct?
Yes.
So if the bullet had fragmented en route from the gun to the skull, if the fragment was 0.36 or smaller, it could have made that hole, couldn't it?
Yes.
So once again, you really don't know the size of the bullet that made that hole because there's so many other variables that could have affected that bullet at point of impact, right?
True.
Now, in looking at the exit wound of the skull, would the exit wound, assuming for the moment that it was made by the bullet, would that have knocked out the teeth on that side of the jaw?
Well, it would have caused a lot of fractures. It may or may not have knocked the teeth out at that time. The teeth may still have been in place and they were just subsequently lost later on.
Okay. So it would have knocked out some amount of skull fragments that it would have been spread around or so.
Well, if the skin was intact relatively intact, save for the bullet exit wound itself, and some bullet fragments may have come out through that exit wound, but as much maxillary skull that was missing, I don't think all of that came out at the time of the shot, but probably was lost later on.
But you don't really know?
No.
Now, we all, and this is regarding your expertise as a licensed physician, and maybe you don't need to be a physician to know this, but we all kind of walk around all day and produce a certain amount of gas within our body, right?
Yes.
So as we go through the day, some way our body expels the gas to a point, but our body is always producing gas and always maintains a certain amount of gas in our bodies, regardless of our efforts to expel the gas. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So when a person dies, that gas is still in the body, right?
Yes.
And if I were to take a body that had just died and push on the belly, for example, there's no longer any muscle tissue or flaps such as the esophagus that is going to hold that gas in because initially, at least, our muscles sort of relax when we die, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that gas would then be expelled.
Some gas still stays in the body even after death, and our bacteria start breaking down tissues and actually create even more gas after you die.
And the bacteria produce more gas that stays in the body, and eventually that gas works its way out, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if I move a body with either bacterial gas or natural gas, sometimes that gas is going to be expelled.
Correct.
And it may or may not make a noise, right?
Yes.
One moment, Your Honor. Various studies that have tried to replicate gunshot trauma to skulls using other than skulls?
No.
You're not familiar with those studies?
No.
Okay. Are you familiar with studies that actually use live skulls, or not, excuse me, not live skulls, but deceased skulls, but they get them intact with tissue and everything?
Well, intact skulls with already tissue in them, like still a brain intact or something like that.
Brain intact, skin intact.
Yeah,
everything.
no, I'm not.
In other words, are you familiar with, maybe not now, but you used to be able to get intact heads from India or China that you could conduct scientific experiments on?
I'm not familiar with that.
Not familiar at all?
No.
Thank you.
Dr. Ross, you do a lot of work in Memphis, right?
Yes.
So you're familiar with gunshot wounds.
Yes.
If someone takes a 32 caliber revolver and puts it right on the back of my head or near the back of my head, and it comes all the way through my head and comes out the left side of my face, what's that going to do to me?
It's going to cause an entrance wound on the back of the head and an exit wound on the front of the head. It will perforate the brain and it will cause fractures.
Am I going to still be here talking to you? Is
I wouldn't expect you to be.
it going to kill me?
Yes.
This wound is consistent, is it not, with a 32 caliber revolver being at or near the back of the head?
It's consistent with it.
Nothing further.
The presumption in that hypothetical is that the person is alive, right?
Yes.
So there's no dispute that if alive, that would be a fatal shot, right?
Correct.
If you're dead, is that a fatal shot?
If you're already dead, it doesn't matter.
It's not fatal, is it?
No.
All right, thank you.
All right, so before you get Dr. Ross, did we get the report? Zachary Adams to make the following stipulations of fact for trial in the above matter without the necessity of proof herein. Number one, that the chart notes and dental radiograph provided to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation by Keith Taylor, DDS oral surgeon, are those of Holly Bobo from a consultation on July 8, 2008, and that the subsequent extraction of a tooth on October 15, 2008. Number two, that Dr. Holly Manus, a forensic odontologist, compared the dental records of Holly Bobo provided by Dr. Keith Taylor to the dental remains found in the wooded area in Decatur County, Tennessee, and concluded with a reasonable amount of dental certainty that the records of Holly Bobo are the records of the same individual whose remains were found in Decatur County, Tennessee on September 8 and 9, 2014. It's signed by attorneys for the respective parties. When the parties have stipulated to a particular fact, the jury is to accept that stipulation as being proved. Okay? So that will be filed as exhibit with both sides. Mayor Rodriguez.
right, so I'm assuming who's coming next is a DNA expert. I'm not
Crazy.
sure.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. What do you do for a living?
I'm a senior forensic analyst at the UNT Center for Human ID.
Did you say the UNT?
Yes,
What is UNT?
University of North Texas,
And where is that? Is that in the Dallas area or
Fort Worth, Texas.
Texas? What kind of education do you have to
From
have a
official
number of
thousands of cases.
Going through her.
Brother of missing person Holly Bobo and Clint Bobo, the sibling of Holly Bobo.
Did you receive those samples sometime in 2011?
Yes, sir. May 10th, 2011.
What did you do with those samples?
Okay,
We
so
conducted DNA testing on those samples, received
this last witness is just going to testify that they conducted the DNA and it was the DNA of Holly. So that's the end of.
Sure, all sides of this in a fair trial. Do you have any questions prior to release for the evening? So this ought to give you time for a good evening meal, and like I say, you folks are going to be tighter than you think. First, let our jury.
All right, so whoop. All right, so that's all we're going to do today so that we can tomorrow, let me just make sure, is that's part 2. Let me see. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Exit full screen. So, oh no. Oh yeah. Okay. So tomorrow, it's this Holly Bobo murder trial, day 4, part 1. Jason Autry testifies. So some of us, we have watched this already. We are going to watch it again. And in order, because he's the next actual witness. And so that's going to be tomorrow. Let's see. Let me go back to your guys. I think we just had one new member, Limey Stew. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Family hug. I'll give you since Bob's not here to give it. K Riggs says it was a surprise witness. Wasn't even supposed to be him that day. So thanks, mods. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks, Mandy. Thank you all. We appreciate all of you. We will be back tomorrow and see you guys then. Bye.